In this video, I'll show you super effective and time-saving ways of practicing some of the most challenging parts of Chopin's Nocturne, Opus 9, No. 2. Hi everyone, welcome to the Piano Keys. I'm so glad that you're here. My name is Marina and I'm your best piano playing friend. I make courses and tutorials to help you level up and reach your piano goals. This is my third practice time for Chopin's Nocturne, Opus 9, No. 2. If you'd like to start from the very beginning, follow the link below this video, or there should be also a link up here somewhere. In this video, I'll be practicing starting at measure 13 and going through measure 24. I'll mostly focus on the right hand runs and the interesting rhythm combinations between the two hands. And if you find as you're working on this piece that it's a little bit more challenging than you're up for at this time, go ahead and check out my easy piano version of this piece. I've got a tutorial, sheet music, performance, anything you could possibly want. That link is also below this video. Okay, so if you've got your sheet music and you're ready to dig into this gorgeous piece, then let's get started. All right, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on the left hand here. The reason being that in the past two practice time videos for this piece, I've already shown you how to find patterns and how to learn by recognizing what repeats and what's different and all that stuff. So the left hand is basically, with minor differences, is basically a repetition of stuff that we've already learned. What I'm going to focus on is the right hand, because the right hand here does some really cool rhythmic things and some runs and trills and things like that. And then we're going to work on putting the hands together. Okay? So the right hand goes back to the original theme of this piece, the A theme. Except this time, instead of doing like we did in the beginning, Chopin is doing something very Chopin-y, and he is adding some decorations to the melody. So we have these three notes that happen before the melody note. And when you put the hands together, I'll tell you how it fits with the left hand. But for now, just know that the most important note in these four notes is the top one. It's the melody note. So as you're playing it, you don't want to make these three the star. They're like the serving up of this guy. Right? So we don't want to do or nothing like that. We want to kind of gently graze over them and go here. I have noticed that when people see these grace notes and things like that and trills, they tend to attack them, trying to play them, quote, fast, and that what ends up happening is something like this. Or actually I'm doing it better, but it's, you know, there's a lot of sense of panic. So the way you can practice it is just playing these three notes the same length or the same way that you would play this last one. Just to kind of tell yourself that there's no hurry, they're just notes. You can even play them all together like that, just to kind of get a grip on what the shape of this is. And then as you're practicing, you can make it a little bit faster and faster. Okay, and just how fast you play the notes will be determined by how you're going to express this music. Remember, this is Chopin, the height of Romanticism. There is so much freedom in the way that you play, even with tempo and rhythms and things like that. All right, so once you've got that handled, now again, he is embellishing the melody. Okay, so the way you can practice this is just really, really slow. I know there's a great temptation to be like emotive right from the beginning, but first you got to know where your fingers are going, right? So play it straight. Okay, just so you can get a good feeling of where the notes are. You can also practice them with rhythms that are different than what's written. And if you've taken any of my technique courses, you will recognize this. So we're doing long, short, long, short, long, short, long. The long is where you think about the next two notes coming up. Then you play the next two notes. You pause and you think about the next two notes coming up. Same here. Okay? You can also do short, long. So you pause here, think about the next two notes, and then play them. Think about the next two notes and play them. Next two notes and play them. Next two notes and play them. Okay? What this does, it breaks up this kind of longish little figure into bite-sized chunks, and that's a really good way to teach yourself. And by having those long notes, you get to pause and plan your next move. It's much better to play it right from the start, correctly from the start, than to make mistakes and then spend time going back and correcting those mistakes, right? So when you do those pauses, you give yourself time to figure out what's coming next and tell your hand where to go. All right, then you can, once you've got it, then you can go ahead and play it the way it's written. And here on the repeated note, I am changing fingers. I'm going from 4 to 3 because it's easier to play a repeated note when it happens fast by changing fingers. You don't have to do that. You can do whatever fingering works for you. Okay, now here we come to the trill. This is also another place where people panic. You know, there's like this crunch to get it in. And I'm not making fun of anyone. I'm just trying to approximate what might be happening for you and why. Okay, the reason that might be happening for you is because you're thinking it's faster than it is. You're tensing up your fingers and your hands and you're trying to cram in notes into this figure. So what I want you to think about is that it's really only 2 extra notes. So without the trill, it looks like this. Okay, with the trill, it looks like this. It's just a tiny little detour on the way to playing the bigger notes. It's kind of like a guitarist being able to bend the string, you know? We can't bend our strings, so we have to do things like trills and things like that. So one way you can think about it is to relax your arm and just kind of shuffle between these 2 fingers, 2 and 3. Doesn't have to be fast. You can practice it slowly to start. Okay? The way I think about it when I'm playing is that it's like a little bat of a butterfly wing. It's very, very delicate. I don't know if you've ever seen a butterfly wing up close, but it's very powdery and very thin, right? So if it's a butterfly wing that is batting, it's not going to cause much movement of air, and that's how I think about it. Okay? Moving on, here again we are embellishing the melody, and the way that Chopin has it, he's got slurs. He doesn't want, according to the notation, what he's telling us is to do this. Lean on that note, but back off on this guy, and then let it go. Lean, back off. Lean, back off. And then while we're doing all that, it should be getting louder as it goes up. So sorry about that double note. Okay, and then you bring it down. Now here we've got a longer trill. Here again, you're going to have a tendency, unless you've really worked on your technique, you're going to have a tendency to tense up. You know, I'm seeing this a lot in my coaching sessions, not on this piece, but just in trills in general. So how long is the trill? It depends on, you know, how many notes you fit in. You don't have to do that many notes if your technique isn't there yet. By the way, I've got lots of really great technique courses that I'm linking below People often ask me, how can I make my trills better? How can I play faster, cleaner? There's not one answer. It's basically you get better at technique. Okay, you teach your body how to move at the piano, and then you won't be asking those questions so much. It's very similar to learning a language. You know, the more you learn about the language, how to speak it, how to write it, how to think in it, you know, every language comes with a culture that has its own way of thinking. Very similar to playing the piano. It's a language that you're learning. Okay, so check out my technique courses below. Become a Piano Superhero and Not Your Mama's Scales. So what you want to do is kind of jiggle between the F and the G. And then as you're coming out of it, you've got the E and the F. Okay, we'll talk about how many notes to do later as I put the hands together, but there's no set length. You could do fast trill. I don't like that because I think it's too busy, it's too energetic for this piece. I think I prefer starting it kind of slow and then speeding it up, which is totally fine. It's within the rules, okay? So, can you see that? So I'm going to really exaggerate it. I start slow and get faster. To me, that sounds really pretty. And we'll talk about it more when we put the hands together. And this is just, you know, notes. Okay, here comes the scary part for many people. You'll see that there are staccatos and a legato. So basically, we play them not connected and not too short. Okay, it's just kind of like you're kind of skipping rocks on a lake, you know, like that. So the way to practice this is if you have watched my +1 technique video, you're gonna recognize this. I'm gonna modify it a little bit. If you haven't seen it, I'm linking it below. Go watch it. It's a game changer, okay? The +1 technique. So this is easy. Now we're going to do the +1 but modified here. I'm going to play 3 notes and use that as my first group. No, sorry, I'm going to do 4 notes. Change that. 4 notes. I'm going to count that as 1 because it's 1 group. You can practice it with your eyes closed. My eyes are closed right now. You'll have to take my word for it, okay? Then I put it together with the stuff that comes before. Okay, then I'm gonna add the next group, which I'm gonna consider as 1 event. My eyes are closed. I can play them together. Okay, that is a diminished 7th chord. If you want to learn about chords, I've got videos for that, which I'll link below. I also have a book called Piano Chords for Everyone, linked below. Okay, so I'm going to add that to what I've already learned in this measure. This is measure 16. Okay, do it again. Nice and light, but not on the surface. You don't want to like pluck at the notes. That's really weird. You want to let your wrist be slightly higher than your fingertips. Okay, and then I'm going to add, that is the next group that I'm considering a 1 event. If these groups are too big for you, what you do is literally the +1 technique, so 1 note at a time, but I'm kind of aggregating them. Okay, I'm going to try that with my eyes closed. Hey, it worked. Great. It doesn't always work, and that's okay. Hey there, it's me again, interrupting your tutorial. If you are getting value from this video, then please click the thumbs up, subscribe, and leave me a comment. If you'd like to give back financially so that I can cover the expenses and time that I put into making these videos, then please follow the PayPal link or the Cash App link below this video. I would really appreciate your contribution in this way. If you are wanting to donate via the YouTube thanks button, you can do that too. Just keep in mind that YouTube takes 30% of whatever you donate right off the top. All right, let's get back to our tutorial. And then moving on, this is easy. This is just like the part we already have worked on. Now here, instead of doing, which we did like before, now we've got 4 notes that fit into the space of 3. Don't worry about the rhythm right now. Just know that it's going to be a little bit faster than fitting 3 notes into the same space. You can change fingers or you can play the same fingers. Doesn't matter. Basically, you're going to do 4 E flats in the span of like 1 beat or 3 beats, depending on how you're counting it. And then you're going to the last E flat will be on the next beat. And then you can change fingers. You cannot change fingers. Whatever you want to do. The most important thing is that the wrist has to be relaxed. People ask me, how do you relax the wrist? Well, that's why I made those exercises for you in the technique courses. Because it's one thing to tell your wrist to relax. It's a whole other thing for your wrist to obey you and actually stay relaxed as you're playing. Okay, moving on. And then this is the same thing that we have already practiced. Okay, and then here, guess what? We get to repeat that again. And then here, instead of going right to the B flat, we've got a little grace note. It's got to be very, very light and just kind of flipped off, like just, you know, just kind of thrown in there. So you don't want to do this, right? And then here's that trill again. Use whatever fingering works for you. And now Chopin is modifying the ending of it. So we've got So how should we practice that? Well, let's use that modified +1 technique that we used earlier in measure 16. So I'm going to do the first group. That's going to be my first group. How do I know? I don't. I just designate it. That's my first group. Okay? I could say my first group is this. It doesn't matter. It's just, you know, pick something. And for me, I'm picking this as my first group because it's a nice jump and I want to make sure that my body and my mind know that this is the distance here. Okay, the next group is going to be the next 3 notes. Let's try that. Okay. And I'm using 5th finger on that C because it's setting me up for a good experience coming up. So I'm going to put those 2 groups together. And then my next group is going to be the next 2 notes, the B flat and the A. I'm using 3rd finger here on the B flat and 1st finger on the A. I'm going to put it all together. Okay. My next group is going to be that quintuplet. So quintuplet, you're going to fit 5 notes into the space of 1/8 note. Oh, that's too many. That's what it is. Wait, yeah. No, wait. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's, I know how to count. Okay. No, I don't want to go there. My finger wants to go there, but I'm going to tell my fingers. Wait, hold on. Let's figure out this group first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very light. We don't want to poke at the notes. Okay, so putting those groups together. Okay, my 3rd finger really wants to move on. All right, so we're gonna do the next group. There's that little triplet there. So I'm gonna do the last two groups together from here. I notice that there are not staccatos here. I can play them if I want, or I can play them completely legato like this. I actually prefer it legato. It sounds more, I don't know, elegant. Okay, so I'm gonna put that whole measure together. I'll measure 24 here. All right, so that is where I'm gonna stop with the right hand. Now, I'm gonna put the hands together, no pedal, okay? Let me change my, I've got a pedal down here that changes pages for me. So no pedal, I'm just gonna kind of fit the hands together. And when you're first doing this, you don't even have to keep a steady beat. In fact, you probably shouldn't. You just wanna line up, like vertically, what happens? Where does the right hand play with the left hand? Where does it play by itself, and that sort of thing. So the right hand, those three notes, those grace notes come before the left hand. And they land together. Okay? Then the left hand plays. Okay. Now here's that trill. So the two extra notes come before the left hand G, E flat. So the two extra notes of the trill go first, and then the hands land together. Okay? So let me put that whole measure of hands together. Measure 13. By the way, you might notice when some people play Chopin or other romantic music, the landing of the hands together isn't always precise. So you don't have to do, okay? Sometimes people do an offset kind of thing. It adds, I don't know, grace and elegance. You don't want to overdo it. Like, I've heard people that's all they do, and it's annoying. You want to, it's like salt. You want to use it, you know, just with taste. You don't want to throw like a bunch of salt on top of everything, right? So think about, if you're going to land one note at a time, think about where you want to do it. Mostly, I do it where I want to call extra attention, like at the beginning of a section or something that's really beautiful. So here I actually would do, the left hand would go slightly ahead of the right, okay? Notice I'm not putting any emotion here because I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. That fits well together. Now, nothing tricky here. Okay, it's very straightforward. Now, here is the trill. You could practice if you're newer to trills. I hope you're not a beginner trying to play this, but if you've pretty much got it, but your trills are, you know, a little bit weak, you could practice like this. Sorry. So you see what I'm doing? I'm playing two notes in the right hand to every note in the left hand. That's a start. You don't want to play it like that, so it doesn't sound so good, right? But it's a place to start. Once that feels good, you could do three notes in the right hand to everyone in the left hand. So we're measuring it very precisely. It's not the way you're gonna it's not the way that you're gonna perform it, but it's just a practice technique. So you're playing three notes in the right hand to everyone in the left hand. And then of course you put in those grace notes before the left hand plays that B. Okay, once you've got that, then you can kind of let it flow the way that it wants to, or the way that you want it to. When when I add pedal, it'll sound good. That's starting it slow and speeding up. Okay. Okay, now here is the fun part. The way you're going to fit it, it's actually quite simple. Maybe not easy to play, but it's simple to understand. So the first three, so we're on measure 16 now. Hopefully you have the music. Now, you'll notice that the right hand has 4 notes before the left hand plays this thing. So 4 notes in the right hand to 1 note in the left hand. So it's going to be, and then these are going to be 4 notes again. Okay, so I'll just stop right there and do that again. Whoops. Okay. Okay, that's pretty easy. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit. Here. Right. And then here. So I'll do that whole figure pretty slow so you can see how it fits together. So you see those 3 notes at the end are a little bit faster than the others because those are triplets. So all together. Okay. And then we know this because we practiced it before. Okay, now here is that 4 in the right hand against 3 in the left. So do you need to count it out precisely? No. No, I don't think so. In my opinion, this should be kind of free-flowing. So with a pedal, you can count it. Like there is a rhythm. Let's see. I don't know if that's accurate. Yeah. No. But I wouldn't play it like that. I would give it more life. Here we go. So you want to understand what's going on, but you don't want to be a metronome. You never want to play like a metronome. Unless, I don't know, maybe if you're playing something that's supposed to be sounding like that, like very straight. Okay, so we're still in measure 18. Now we're in the second part of the second group of it. So you've got the, okay, that's pretty straightforward. Okay. This is all review from before, so nothing too interesting here. I mean, you know, nothing new. Of course, it's all interesting because it's Chopin. We know this from before. Thank you for repeating, Frederick. That helps us a lot. And then this is the same as what we already practiced here. I'm making mistakes because I'm trying to think, is there anything I need to tell you here? I don't think so. So I'll just play. Ah, here, yes, this is what it is. So here we got the grace notes, the grace note that is different. So starting at measure 21, here it is. Play it first, and then let the hands land together. Okay. Okay, there we go. Sorry, and then now we have the trill, which we've already talked about. Got that. All right, now the most fun part of all, let's see how we're gonna fit it together. Look at the very first group we've got. Don't let that rhythm scare you. So basically it's just together, right, then left, okay? Together, right, left. Together, right, left. Then it's gonna be right, together, then the right. Okay? Okay, you notice that that C has a dot next to it, so it's a little bit longer than the B coming up. Now, here we've got 2 notes in the right hand, 1 note in the left hand. Okay, and here's where we have those quintuplets. So we've got so that's that guy, and the next guy is. But of course, you don't get to pause in between. But when you're practicing, you can pause just to kind of gather your thoughts. So you could pause wherever you want as you're practicing, but knowing that you can't keep it that way, right? You can't perform it that way. And when I say perform, I'm not talking about getting in front of an audience. I mean, just playing the piece. You can improvise a lot with pop and jazz and blues and rock and things like that, but with classical music it's pretty set, you know, like you got to play it more or less what's written there. I think I can do that better. I'm gonna use the pedal. And that too, you do not have to fit it exactly right. For me, this is just a really graceful figure. And you don't, again, do not play it like it's a metronome. All right, so that's where we're gonna stop, and then we got that and finishing it off. I'm gonna play it and see what happens. You can follow me on Facebook, The Piano Keys, on Instagram, The Piano Keys TPK, and I have a super fun and private Facebook group called Piano Practice Tips with The Piano Keys. All of those links are below. If you want to join my group, it's a really great idea because you get to interact with me in real time, and you have a very supportive group of pianists who will cheer you on and answer your questions and sometimes challenge you to do even better than you're doing now. Keep practicing, have fun, and I will see you soon. Bye! This video is generously sponsored by E3 Live, the all-natural, 100% organic original superfood. I've been drinking E3 Live blue-green algae for around 15 years, on and off, and I really feel the difference on the days when I add E3 Live to my routine. I have more energy, and I crave less sugary food, which is my weakness. We all know that our bodies need the highest quality nutrients to deal with the stresses and toxins of modern life. Whether you're paleo or vegan or somewhere in between, E3 Life products will help you level up in your health and wellness. If you use the code below, you'll get 15% off your first order, and you'll be helping to support this channel so that I can keep making awesome videos for you.